Just the boys again.
Just the boys.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one, I think. It'll be fun.
All right, I guess we start.
Do you want cheers first, I guess? I know, it's weird.
I'm like, wait a second.
Cheers, brothers.
Yeah, man. All right, welcome back, guys. Another episode of 10 Plus 1. I'm Corry Blanc.
And I'm Christopher Knox.
Who do we got with us today?
Today we got nobody. Just the boys today.
Yeah, it's like a throwback already, but just a few weeks in. But
Yeah.
Fun. So what are we doing?
I think what we're going to do this week, we're going to do, because I want to be able to do just the two of us, where we just like pick a musical topic and just bang out some jams.
Yeah.
So this is going to be our first Summer Jam series.
Yeah, seems like summer is upon us. Feels like summer, looking like summer.
It feels like summer. It hasn't gotten too hot around here yet,
No,
though.
but it's like the sun's out.
Sun's out, yeah.
Short sleeves are out.
Yeah.
Shorts are out.
Shorts are out on most days.
Brady's got the motorcycle out.
Motorcycles are out.
Yeah.
Everything's cool. So, yeah, so this is our, I don't know, maybe we can just call it our jams series that we'll do from time to time.
I've got it written down as a summertime edition.
Yeah.
And this is just going to keep it as bonus. Do we call this like an episode number? It's just a bonus number. Technically, it's 9.
Yeah. I don't know how we should do that. I kind of just want to just pluck them in every now and again.
Yeah, just summertime edition.
Yeah.
Sounds
All
good.
right. And so what we did is I picked 5 songs. Corey, you picked 5 songs.
I think we both picked 6.
Yeah.
So maybe instead of 10 plus 1, it's 5 plus 1, and we wind up with 12. I don't know.
Let's see how it goes.
See how the day goes.
Yeah.
We've got 12 to choose from.
Yeah. And but it's going to be, we decide we're going to do Summertime JAMZ, like windows rolled down, and just the tunes that we are very excited about when it comes on. And then maybe tell a little tidbit about each song and what we like about it, where it came from.
Yeah,
Whatever
sounds
it
good.
goes. All right, so you want to get the show on the road?
Yeah, man, you take it running. Well, at this also, all the standard legalese and how things are going to work.
Yeah.
You know, this will be on Spotify. If you have the premium, you can listen to everything. If you got the standard or free, you can listen to 30 seconds. And on YouTube, you'll have the full list to listen to.
Yeah.
I mean, the full list that you can link out and go to Spotify and listen to just the music.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. All right, and with that, the first song I have is Althea and Donna, and the song is called Uptown Top Rankin'.
What's this song all about?
This song is, so I never really got into like reggae or anything like that as a teenager, because it was like real popular with like hippie kids in Virginia Beach, and I mean I didn't dislike it, I just kind of wrote it off because it was all tie-dyed, because it was the 90s, so like the hippie thing came back real big, and every frat boy had a Bob Marley poster on his wall.
Yeah.
And but then when I moved to New York, the first place I lived was up in the North Bronx. It was on Webster Avenue and like 234th Street, like all the way
You were
up
out there.
Yeah, I was like 6 blocks from Yonkers, and but I lived in this like Irish neighborhood, and everybody was super mean to me there. But literally right across the tracks, the Metro North was all like Jamaican neighborhood.
Okay.
So I went up to like White Plains Road, like up there, and it was just that whole strip was all Jamaican stuff. So I would go into like record stores. I didn't know anybody in New York. And I was just like by myself, and but I would like go get like beef patties and stuff there, and then go into record stores. And there was this one record store I liked, and it was all reggae, Rocksteady and all that stuff. And there was an old dude that was just this old Rasta guy that was just nice. He had like family in Virginia or something. Because I was just a goofball punk rock kid. I was like 22 years old. And like I thought Rocksteady was from the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't, and I thought ska was just like goofy two-tone white dudes.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I didn't learn anything. So anyway, through there, and this guy, he taught me a lot of awesome stuff, and this was one of his favorite songs, and he had this record, and yeah, it's from Althea and Donna. They were like two young girls. They were like 16 years old or something when they wrote this song. It was kind of like because there was this other guy named Trinity that had a song called 3-Piece Suit, which is also a great song, and this is like kind of like a callback to that, like from the woman's perspective, because 3-Piece Suit's about how Trinity's like walking down the street, he feels so good in his 3-piece suit and he's badass, and this is about these young Jamaican teenage girls walking in their khaki suits and ting, and just being badass. So it's called Uptown Top Rankin'.
Say it.
Do it.
All right, man. Good vibe.
Man. Yeah, and that's like my first summer in the Bronx. That's what that song brings me back to. And just lonely, scared, but just happy. I was like, I left my ex-wife. Like, I got away from my folks. I was 22, and I was just I had a bicycle, and that's all that really mattered, you know? And, yeah, just being like, just goofball, you know, like I didn't know shit, but luckily, but that's the thing, like you meet like certain people that like just help you out, and that's what this guy was for me for that summer. Just like,
it's good old Rasta dudes.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, what do you got?
Trying to think what to follow that one up with, man. So you had a little Jamaica and Rasta vibe. I'm gonna follow it with Bahamas.
All right.
You know Bahamas?
No. I know of the Bahamas.
Yeah. The band or guy?
No.
Bahamas, yeah. Like indie, good chill music. Yeah, I think he came out like 2009 with his first album. For me, I think summer is like dinner parties. Dinner parties, riding down the road with the music, blasting, windows down, dancing under the stars, festival season. So Bahamas for me is I always put it on the Bahamas mix anytime I have a dinner party. It's perfect, just like good background music.
Okay.
So
it's a guy or it's
a guy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a guy, and he just goes by Bahamas. He's got several good songs with the guys, like all the bands that I picked. It was hard to find, like, I knew kind of the bands I wanted to go with, but, like, which song do you pick? So I chose Caught Me Thinking. He's got a couple of good ones. I almost did, what's the Whole Wide World? You know, the Reckless Eric?
Yes.
Yeah, he has a really good cover of that one.
Okay.
I almost chose that, but this is Caught Me Thinking. This is a summer dinner time background music.
All right.
That's it. All right, man.
Yeah.
That's my summer dinner party vibe.
That's good.
Right there.
Yeah, I was saying, I feel like I've never really, I've heard stuff like that. But it was like the group of kids right after me were listening to a lot of that style. Yeah. So it just feels like youthful to me.
I mean, I came across him from a dude who used to work for me who was 8 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good tone. Feels good. And I could see it, like you're saying, like a dinner party but also just even in a car, windows down, late at night, like out later than you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's like the youthful thing of it. It feels like good vibes for like
you're out and about past 9 o'clock.
Yeah, like millennial, like a young millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and where are you taking us next?
All right, the next one. So, as a teenager, or I guess maybe in college. So as a teenager, I was just like into punk and metal and hardcore. But then in college, it was definitely in college, I got way into DC Go-Go. Do you know what DC Go-Go is?
I've heard you talk about it before, but no.
Yeah, so DC Go-Go is this, it's just go-go, but it's a style of music that's only played pretty much in the DC area.
Okay.
It started, I don't know, in the 60s probably, and it's like a certain type of person. They're like go-go heads. It's more like, it's real popular in black colleges, like that whole scene, that whole circuit, because Virginia has a lot. And when I was in college, the girl I was dating, who I ended up marrying, she was deep into that. She was in a sorority, a black sorority, and like Norfolk State, like her brother went to Norfolk State, and like there's Howard, and one's up in DC and stuff. So we would go to these things. And so it's hard to explain, but go-go is like a beat. It's a specific like do 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 like beat. And they have these shows where it's played with by like a band, and like all the like albums and stuff. Like usually if you hear a recording, it's live, because it's these go-go parties that happen, and they go from like midnight to like 4 a.m, and it's like hot. Sweaty, like there's like this own dance, like it's like a certain type of person that's like into go-go, and I just like fell in love with it in like the mid 90s. And when I was like young man, before I moved to New York, I was like going from like Virginia Beach and Norfolk up to DC a lot, and it's popular in Virginia Beach and in Baltimore, but it's mostly DC. And this song, it's called "The Water Dance" by DJ Flex, and it was on like every like Thursday night was like go-go night on the radio up there, and it's just summer 1996, windows down, water dance, and there are all these like great bands. Like you've probably heard some like Chuck Brown songs. Chuck Brown's like, I don't know if he started go-go, I don't know, but he's like the old head. He's like the godfather of go-go. And you've probably heard some of his other songs, because I think he had a band called like the Soul Searchers or something like that. And they had some other tunes that aren't coming to my mind, but that were like more mainstream. But then there's bands like Junkyard Band and Rare Essence and all those like 90s go-go bands I'm still into. And DJ Flex, he was a DJ up there. And this is the only song I think I know of his, but this is like the jam.
The song.
Yeah. Okay. And it's not like the quintessential go-go song, but for me, like this is a summertime jam.
Okay.
All right. The Water Dance.
Water Dance.
DJ Flex. It's good stuff.
Yeah, dude, I like it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go down the rabbit hole. I was just Googling real fast, like DC Go-Go, and they got the whole DC Go-Go dance, all the videos.
Oh yeah,
which you were just describing.
I was just talking about roughing it off. Yeah, man, it's good times, and the parties are wild, and like I was saying, it's almost like a rave mosh pit, like.
Yeah, you said it's like usually late midnight.
Yeah, it's like late at night. It goes on for hours. And
it's all the good-looking people.
Yeah.
Coming out dressed in the nines.
Yeah, and getting sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
And, I still love go-go. I don't listen to it much anymore. Like, I'll get a bug up my butt, a little go-go bug.
Okay.
But I was, just the other day, I was like, summertime, my windows are down in my car, and I was blasting this song and some Junkyard Band. And it was good. It just, it just brings me back to that mid-90s, like, just, and it was just like an exciting time of like, oh, this is a whole new music that I like, but it still has like a weird like punk, it has like a hardcore show feel to it, where it's like just dudes in bands. I play bass, I play drums, I play guitar, and like put this together, and it's live music. It's a live show. So it had like that kind of vibe to it. So I think maybe that's part of the thing that attracted me to it. Mm-hmm. And it was so like regionally specific.
You knew everyone. At least you'd seen them around. And
Yeah. And I was not like in the scene. I just went to a couple shows. But like,
it's got to be fun to be a spectator at those.
Yeah. And I met a couple guys that went to Hampton University that were in a go-go band that I was like pals with for a little bit. But yeah, I was just like a fan, but I wasn't like a scene star in that. But anyway, DJ Flex, that's him. Dive into some DC go-go. Check it out.
Totally.
What do you got for us there, brother?
Yeah, man. So what do I follow that one with? So
that's a weird one to follow. That's why I wanted to get it out of the way.
So I think I'm going to go to my North Georgia go-go inspired.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, growing up where I grew up, just outside of Athens, I never got to see these guys, but everyone knows them, and I'm sure it's an awesome show, and they definitely had some go-go inspiration, and this CD is in all of my cars, actual CD,
nice.
Too. And this song is one song that, like, windows down, windows up, I'm pretty much screaming full blast.
Nice. All right.
And getting down, because how can you not? It is the one and only Love Shack by the one and only B-52s.
There you go.
So let's see, where is it at here? And let's just hit it right now.
All right, Love Shack.
All right.
Love Shack.
Tin Roof. Rusted.
Yeah, that song, we were just saying, like, it's very rare that there's bands that are, like, so their own thing.
Dude, I just love, like, every bit of your just, like, visceral emotion singing that song, driving down the road.
Yeah.
It's just so fun.
Yeah.
So liberating. And like I was saying, I mean, my 3-year-old daughter in the back.
Yeah, and I can see just like what age group wouldn't like that song? It's just
totally.
Like perfect, great, fun song. And I was just trying to think. Yeah, because I was saying that there was like this scene in New York in like the 80s called like No Wave, and I think they may have had something to do with that, because there was like this guy like King Congo and the Coconuts or something like that, and he had kind of a similar vibe now that I think about it. But and they have No Wave, like I was saying, it's like more like New York art school 80s stuff, but and a lot of it's hard to listen to. It's like real like off rhythm, off time stuff. But there was also like a scene of like these like big band type things, and even though they were like upstate New York, but it may have been part of that scene. But I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they formed in 76.
Yeah.
How many bands from, like, formed in 76 are, like, still, I mean, I guess a handful, but.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing. They were around for a long time before they got big. Because that was definitely the first song I heard of them.
Yeah, that came out in 89.
Yeah. Yeah, when that video came out, I was in, like, 6th grade or something. Just being a little skate rat in Virginia Beach and running home to watch MTV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you got any other input on that?
No, dude. These are just, like, good songs
to
listen to. And, that, like, the flow's going pretty good.
Yeah. I'm happy listening to this on this warm. It's a beautiful summer day here today, but it's nice. All right.
So where are you taking us? Which direction?
Next, I have, so this is also, like, when I first moved to New York, like, that summer.
What summer was that?
2001, maybe 2002.
Okay.
So, like, when I lived in the North Bronx for a while, I didn't really know anybody. But then through this summer, like, I was, like, making friends in Manhattan. Like, I would ride my bicycle all the way from 233rd, all the way to the Lower East Side and East Village, and sometimes to Williamsburg. It would be like a weekend thing.
You would do that?
Yeah, like almost every weekend.
Did you at least have something better than BMX bike?
Yeah, I had like a fixed gear bike.
Okay.
And like I would ride down. I would like haul ass through the Bronx, and then I'd stop in Harlem and like Marcus Garvey Park and get some food, and just like chill out and relax, and then go into Central Park. It would be like an all day, not all day, but like I'd leave in the morning and like hang out, and then I'd usually take the train back.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't ride back at night because it was too sketchy. But yeah, I was like making friends, going to shows, and just riding my bike all the time. And this is a song that I used to, just this band had come out right around then. I'd seen them a couple times before they got real big, I guess. Maybe it was
when
right
this
around
album
when this
came out, it was like record stores were still around, and I remember like the big banners and everything, like hanging in the record stores.
Yeah, like I remember I got this because I have like the original version of the vinyl. It has a different cover.
Oh, okay.
It's got like a girl's butt, and it's got like, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I remember because the version I have has the song New York City Cops on it.
Okay.
Which they took off the American version because it was like right after September 11th.
Got it. Yeah, because this came out in 01.
Yeah, and yeah. So this is the Strokes, by the way. The song's called Someday. But, yeah. But they used to play at, like, Arlene's Grocery and stuff. And I remember because they would have, like, the hottest girls at their show.
Oh, yeah.
And they weren't, like, huge yet. You know what I mean? This is before they were on MTV. And just, I was like, what is going on? And then years later, I realized that Julian Casablancas, his father owns Casablancas modeling agency.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, all these things
there
are coming together.
There you go.
Yeah, and and actually I ended up becoming friends with Julian like years later because I used to manage this store in the East Village. It was a vintage clothing store called Metropolis, like the best store. It's still around, and but WizKid, they're like management agency. They used to be over on like 4th Street or 5th Street, I don't remember, but then they moved over to like right around the corner from the store that I worked at. So he would like come in and hang out after work. I don't know what they did, but like he'd like go to work and like come hang out at the shop, and we'd just shoot the shit, talk records and horror movies and stuff. He was like a super rad dude. But the song's called Someday. Yeah, and this is like riding through Manhattan, young man, again, just divorced, just like free for the first time in my life. And
did you have an iPod? Was it like
not then?
Because that was 01. I mean, that's at like they'd maybe just come out, or was it still like a Discman?
I had a Discman, but I didn't have an iPod until a little bit after that. But I mean, soon thereafter.
Yeah. Because I read around there. I was a senior in high school in 01, and I remember getting my first iPod then. Yeah. I think that was like relatively new, the age of digital music.
Yeah. I remember I had like a Discman and like I had like a messenger bag thing and rode fixed gear bikes and just like the overwhelmingness of Manhattan, like just post September 11th.
Yeah.
But just like, it was still like the world felt good still. It's not like now where it's as heavy, even though the heaviest thing had just happened. Yeah. But yeah. So this is it. This is the Strokes, Someday.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, Strokes.
It'll bring you back. That's a very good summertime song.
Yeah, just bike riding. That's what it reminds me of. Riding my bike through Manhattan, looking at pretty ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like coming from Virginia, then moving to New York, and you're just like, what? Like I remember my friend Todd, like he helped me move up, and we got out of the U-Haul, and he was like, "Oh my God, that was the prettiest girl I've ever seen." Yeah. And then we turned around and we were like, "Oh my God, that's the prettiest girl I've ever seen in my whole life." Like the first two women were the prettiest women I had ever seen in my life.
Who would have ever thought that like the capital of the world would bring all the prettiest women
but still,
around.
You were like, I didn't even know they made those.
Yeah,
I thought those were in like or just
the
movies
that
or
are based in New York.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, just meeting new people. It's just what that song reminds me of. And just like wearing like my one leg rolled up so it didn't get stuck in my bike chain, and just cruising along.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. So what do we got for you there, partner?
Yeah, man, I think I'm going to go. This is statistically over the last couple of years my most binged song. And this is a song, I mean, it came out, I was young. When did this, I don't know. Everyone knows this song. It's definitely one of those songs, high energy, fast pace. You can't help but get down. Yeah?
Yeah. Where'd you get into it?
I guess this has to be MTV. This has to be MTV for the most part. And this band is actually one of the first music videos I ever remember hearing.
Okay.
Or music videos I remember seeing on TV. And my mom's brother, my uncle, is not much older than me. He's like, I want to say like 7, 8 years older than me. Yeah. Enough to where I used to like follow him around and be that like annoying little kid.
Yeah.
And he was a punk rocker, heavy metal kid.
And this was in Athens?
Georgia,
Georgia.
Yeah. But he used to listen. It's Beastie Boys.
Ah, nice.
So, yeah, I mean, he used to listen to Beastie Boys a lot, and he also Beastie Boys, and then that transitioned into, Metallica and Black Sabbath and all the things. He was the guy with, he had the long hair, long blonde straight hair, headbanging all the time. He had, big silver earrings with crosses, always wore black Levi's with holes in them, nice. And a black band shirt of some sort. So, he was my idol for, man. The majority of my childhood. I just, followed this guy around. But so the first music video was Fight for Your Right. I remember him and, his buddies just, getting down at my grandma's house, Fight for Your Right to party. And then this album came out. This is...
this was early.
Well, this is off Ill Communication. Ill Communication came out in 94, so I was a little older on this one. But this is not Fight for Your Right. This is Sabotage. This is... for the last 2 years, maybe, since Spotify started doing the remix, breakdown at the end of the year, this is, the number one binge song. So, out of nowhere, this song comes, I just have to play this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was, groundbreaking when this video came out.
Dude. And it's just, the guitar riff. Everything about this song, the pace, the energy, the music video.
Yeah.
Just,
I think this won the very first... Best rap album.
Ill Communication?
Best rap song, maybe, or video.
Okay, yeah.
One of those things. And because I remember somebody recently was like, can you believe the first best rap video or song or album, whatever, was white guys? And I was like, you don't understand who Beastie Boys are.
Yeah, yeah.
They are so integral in the fact of rap and hip hop becoming a genre and a mainstream. I get what their point was, but also,
and it's all led by Rick Rubin, another white guy, but
exactly
who is Rick Rubin is beyond color. He's beyond. He's almost like a deity in some weird
he's
way.
His own fifth dimensional being.
Totally.
That just comes to help.
Have you read his new book?
No.
It's interesting.
What's it called?
It's all about creativity and enlightenment. I forget the exact. I listened to it on the audiobook, and it's him reading it.
Nice. Oh yeah.
But the first 20 minutes or so, it's just him, essentially reading a proverb.
Yeah.
Just some wise saying in Rick Rubin's voice.
Yeah.
And then it ends with a gong. Boom.
Are you kidding me? Of course it
does. And then it's
but...
another saying, and then gong. It's whoa. You got to be in a headspace for that one.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to get deeper into it.
That's cool. You have to check it out. Also, little known fact, Rick Rubin, huge fan of pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah?
Huge fan of pro wrestling.
Okay.
Like, he's often at, like, big pay-per-views. He's in the front row. He's just been a wrestling fan for a long time. I'm telling you, all the best people are pro wrestling fans. You got to get into it. It's its own art. It's a very enlightened art once you get to understand it.
An enlightened art.
Yeah, it really is. It's like the oldest story known to man. And it's, I don't know, we'll do a pro wrestling podcast one day. All right, so this is Sabotage.
Sabotage.
All right.
Let's get it.
Good stuff.
You guys sing along. All right,
Yeah, man.
If you don't move in your seat on that one, something's wrong with you.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, we were just saying, I was like 16. Like, I was already deep into high school, doing my stuff. But that like brought like, that was like the time of like skateboarding started to become more mainstream and stuff. And even just like punk and hardcore, like that was like kind of the introduction of all that. Yeah, like Jackass was coming out, It took like, it was when like indie stuff became kind of cool, like, right?
Yeah, get a little spotlight on it.
Yeah, like from like late night stuff to like mainstream MTV or whatever. It was just good stuff, man. I don't really know what else to say about that.
And it's the Beastie Boys. What can you say?
Yeah, man.
It's just like the whole
pivotal
catalog. Those first, three, maybe 4 albums, because it was like Ill Communication, Paul's Boutique. Or no, I mean, it was Licensed to Ill, Paul's Boutique, Ill Communication. Those first 3. Then you got into like Hello Nasty, and that was when I was in high school.
Yeah,
and
I ever heard that.
That was pretty good. That was like, had the little like sardine can on the cover of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I've heard stuff off of it, but yeah.
Yeah, but like those first 3 albums,
Yeah.
like every song through and through.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were still making great stuff up until the end, like weird. They got a little weirder at the end.
Definitely.
It was still like cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And where are you taking us from there?
All right. Yeah, I'm going to slow it down, but it's still in the same vein a little bit. I don't really have any like really good stories for this song. It's just
Good song.
a great summer song. And again, I just feel it's, for me, it's like a walking around New York song.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminds me of just cruising around, listening to my headphones. By that point, I did have an iPod. And sitting in the park. And it's just, it's Curtis Mayfield, Pusher Man. And I do remember, I used to play this game with my friend. We would like ride our bikes around, and then we used to like to hang out at Washington Square Park.
Okay, yeah.
And we'd play this game of like, we'd get to the edge of the park, and I'm going to say 7. And he was like, all right, I'm going to say 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the game was like how many times we'd be offered weed.
Oh, okay.
Walking from one side of Washington Square Park to the other. And it was in that.
Okay. Thought you were going to say like hula hoop girls or something.
No, it was, dudes were like, because that was like, Washington Square Park was like notoriously like, that's where you buy weed since like the 60s. Uh-huh. And
such a fun park to hang out at.
Yeah, this characters.
It's just like people playing music. It's a good.
Yeah, dudes putting on like weird shows. There used to be these 2 little fellas, Tick and Tack All Stars. Okay. There was one guy Tick, one guy Tack, and the story was they were brothers. I don't know if they really were, but they do all the kind of like the Subway Showtime stuff, but they would do it in the park and not in the subway where they're annoying everybody.
Yeah, totally.
And I used to just love hanging out in that park when I was young. And the drug dealers were just like, if you sat on a bench, somebody's just going to come sit next to you. Or sometimes they'd just be like, they just smoke. Sometimes dudes, you'd walk by and then just like blow weed smoke in your face. Like as you're passing by, just.
Yeah.
But also that's like, there were all these undercover cops there. It was crazy. I don't know how it went down because half the dudes selling weed were probably cops.
Yeah.
And the other half were real drug dealers. I don't know how it went, but I mean, I didn't smoke weed at the time, so.
I remember a few years back, me and my buddy Daniel. You've met Daniel.
Yeah.
They're actually down here now, but we were doing something. I was up there visiting them. And for some reason, we got up like before sunset to go to
sunset.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's New York. That is a thing.
Before sunrise, because they lived in Brooklyn over by the Navy Yard, and we for some reason we went into Manhattan for sunrise. It might have just been to go see the sun come up between the buildings or something. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But we went and got a pack of Nat Sherman's Black and Gold, the like bougiest, best cigarettes, but like, you know, black smoke and then like a gold filter. And we went to Washington Square Park. Yeah. We were watching the sunrise with some Nat Sherman's Black and Golds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good people watching park.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it's like now, but especially back then, just so many characters. It was like famous actors walking through, like, you know, and like it was just good place to hang out. And yeah, so this is Curtis Mayfield, Push a Man.
Let's do it. All right.
Push a Man.
Such a good jam.
Yeah, and it's just...
You got to walk with some swagger, dude, listening to that song. And that's like some swagger right there.
Yeah, like it doesn't get much cooler. No. It just oozes.
Yeah.
And you can like see the person that... Yeah. I am not the person that can walk to that song.
That's like what I was thinking. Like, and it might be in that movie, but when Denzel Washington, he was the kingpin drug dealer in New York, like in the 70s. Just that's what I envision with that. He's got a nice suit, walking down the street. Everyone's turning their heads. Everyone knows who they are, and you got the right little bit of a just swagger when you go. Yeah. You know all eyes are on you.
Yeah. And you see those people. I don't know who he is, but that dude is somebody.
Yeah.
And
they know it.
They know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, man. So where are you taking us?
Yeah, dude, I think I'm going to jump into some Nathaniel Rateliff. That's sort of been my go-to dude for, I don't know, good 3-4 maybe plus years. Anytime he's around, I go to see him. Me and Kasha have seen him here. We've seen him in New Orleans. We've just like, he puts on a hell of a show. He gets down. I've never heard a bad song. He's got probably, I don't know, 10 plus albums between like solo and with his band.
Yeah.
And it's just every song's good.
I've heard his name a lot, but I don't know that I know him. I might, once I listen to it, I might, but...
This one song you might know is the S.O.B. It's like, I don't really care for it too much. Just when it first came out, it was good and it was catchy. Son of a bitch, give me a drink, like that song. But it's definitely not, in my opinion, like one of his best songs. Like he's a good singer, good songwriter, good showman. Yeah. Like he dances. He's not a little dude. He's not a big dude, but he's like a hefty fella.
Right.
And like, he fucking moves on stage. Like he just gets down. His whole band has a good just vibe about him. The way they look, the way they all work together.
Okay.
You would probably dig seeing the show.
Yeah. Aren't you going to see him soon? Is
that
what you were talking about?
Yeah. It's September or October, sometime middle of September, I think.
Right.
He's playing in Charlottesville. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, I've heard you mention him before, and I've seen his name around. Yeah, it's just...
There's so many people out there.
There's so much stuff. I don't even know.
And just trying to... I mean, I was going through, I'm like, I want to put some Nathaniel Rateliff on here, but I'm like, which song? You know, and, like, if you've never heard him, like, I don't know. He's got, like, Hey Mama, he's got Shay, he's got I mean, it's just, like, so many great songs. I chose Say It Louder. I think it's got a good mix. Some of his songs are slow and soulful. This one's kind of like right in the middle ground. So I think we're going to play it, Say It Louder, if you've not heard of Nathaniel Rateliff. And
before you started, how did you get into him? Like, where did you know what I mean? Like, of all the things, because I mean, how long has he been around? Not that long, right?
Well, him solo, because I've gone back into his earlier stuff. But let's see.
Was he with the group before?
I'm not sure exactly, but I know his solo albums predate his Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. That's the band he's with now.
Okay.
And so their first album came out in 2015, and that had that SOB song on there. And I think that's where I first heard him. Okay. And got into it. And that whole album's pretty good. I bought it. I've got it on, I've got digital. I've also got it on vinyl. And it's a good one through and through. And then just dug deeper and then found his solo stuff before that. So he's not that old. Yeah. First time in 2015, at least with the band. Yeah. And now they've got several live albums. And
the Night Sweats is a good band name. I really like that.
I was thinking about this, and I'm like, you would probably enjoy the show. You would definitely like the dudes in the band. Mm-hmm. Like, they have a look about them. Mm-hmm. And the bass player, is it a bass player? Or maybe one of the guitar players. He's just like, he looks like he's 7 foot tall, and he's like skinny as a pencil. Mm-hmm. But he just has this look, and you're like, you're fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the bass player is always like the sneaky, like weirder dude. Mm-hmm. Usually, not always, but oftentimes. And yeah. All right, let's do this. What's the name of the song again? I'm sorry.
Say It Louder.
Say It Louder. All right.
Here we go. All right, Nathaniel Rateliff.
Dude, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. It's definitely like, I was saying, like if the production value was lower, it would definitely, it sounds just like a 70s song, but it doesn't sound like it's trying to.
Yeah, yeah.
And like if that was an old song, I would love that song. But because it's new, I just wouldn't have, like if I just heard it, I'd be like, that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely want to dive into this guy because this was good. And got another train coming. And we're back.
Train is gone. And there's a cough out of the way. All right, so yeah, what I was saying, dude, that's between Nathaniel Rateliff and who I'm going to play next, it just like has a certain vibe and just feel good music. And it always reminds me, my pride and joy, my 93 F-150 that's in the garage. And like, you've never seen it running the whole time you've been here. Running. That was my daily driver for 7 years. Mm-hmm. No matter how successful I get or how rich I will one day be, that truck will always be in my life.
Awesome.
It's like a bookmark, like a little, I can always reference back.
Where did you get that truck?
I bought it from my buddy Tim, $700. That was when I moved to Esmont. Ex-girlfriend took the old truck, moved to Esmont, didn't have a vehicle. He had that truck. That's an old farm truck from a vineyard down the road. Mm-hmm. And sold it to me for $700. Took me like 3 weeks to pay him. $700 right. For that truck. And it was my daily driver for 7 years. And like the first time I ever picked Kasha up for a date, I picked her up in that truck. And like, it's just, it'll always remind me of that spot in my life when I had nothing. And it's just like, now it needs an engine. So I'm just trying to come up with some funds and get the engine done. But it was probably, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago, my brother came up for a while. Mm-hmm. And like the truck had a big hole in the floorboard. So we welded up the floorboard. We we redid the whole floor. We put in a new radio, put in new speakers. I had it like tuned. We put all new like weather seal around the windows. I did like new door handles inside and like roll up manual window knobs and like really kind of got it fresh. And I was driving it for a little bit, but then the engine like really started to go. And that's why it's parked right now. But Nathaniel Rateliff was like always playing in that truck. And that type of music.
Yeah,
that and fits an old like square body, like American truck.
It just fits.
Windows down in the summer. That'll always be.
I can't wait for you to get that thing running again.
Yeah, that's my baby.
Yeah, my dad and stepmom had F-150, same color, same boxy. I think it's probably a different year, but and that's the truck I learned to drive on.
Okay.
The same exact color.
Yeah, dude. That's Ford blue. I mean, that can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
When I bought this shop, when we moved from the old shop, I had 3 vehicles that didn't run. They were all parked in the parking lot of the old shop. Mm-hmm. And Kasha was like, "You got to get rid of them." And I'm like, "Well, I can't get rid of the truck." Yeah. So I had to sacrifice 2 non-running vehicles so I could keep the 3rd non-running vehicle.
How did you get the truck from Charlottesville to Waynesboro?
I want to say I drove it.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly.
Over the mountain?
Maybe. I had it running for a spell.
I feel like I've seen you move it before.
It didn't run well. Like, it ran good for a number of years and then it sit for a while. Mm-hmm. And now the engine's like, it burns oil and it blows oil at tailpipe. Like, the valves are done. Like, it just needs a rebuild. Yeah. And one day I'll rebuild it. And I always told Kasha, like, if we ever have a kid, this was way before we've had a kid. Yeah. I was like, that truck. Maybe Elena will be into it. I don't know. We'll see. But, like, I had the dream before I had children that, like, that would be the project vehicle, like, when my child gets to, like, driving age. Yeah. And, like, redo it, and then they can drive it.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad still has that truck that I was saying. But I think, same thing, it doesn't work. But I think my little sister's going to get it. Mm-hmm. If she doesn't want it, then I'll hopefully get it if he ever rebuilds it.
Yeah. Dude, I'm always, like, scouring Facebook Marketplace, and I'm seeing those, like, in good driving condition for cheaper than what it's going to take me to rebuild that engine. Yeah. But it's not going to be that truck.
Yeah.
So.
No, I get it. All right.
Yeah, where are you taking us down?
All right. So that was – oh, no, we got another one. So this is my last song of the 10. This is – it's an old song. I used to love this song as a kid, but I kind of totally forgot about it. But my last summer in New York, so I left here during the COVID. I left New York during the COVID times and moved down here. And so New York was, like, COVID was pretty crazy up there. And because it hit New York first. And a lot of people are like, oh, COVID wasn't a big deal. But it really was up there. It was terrifying. Everyone that lives there knows somebody affected. And so, and up there I had I'd been there 20 years. I had a tight group of friends, and just to not be able to, like, see them, like, your whole life, every day is, like, I walk to work, I talk to 8 different people on my way to work and 8 different people on the way home from work, and not being able to see people it's hard. And, like,
in a big city, I can imagine.
Where, like you didn't just sit around your house. Like, you went out every day. Like, every day of my life for 20 years, I was, like, being social. And then one day, it was the summer, and it was, like, when things were, like, you could, like, be outside, but you still had to stay around from everybody. And I hadn't, hung out with my friends in weeks, if not months. And one of my best friends, Julie Griner, she texted me and she was like, you and Sheila come outside in 5 minutes. I was like, what? So we went down, and I hear this song playing from around the corner, because our door to our apartment was on 22nd Street, and then 5th Avenue was over there, and I heard this music playing from down 5th Avenue.
So you do the 16 candles thing, like holding the boombox?
No, even cooler, man. Yeah. Like, I just hear this song playing. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then Julie's riding on her like Stingray Schwinn
Okay.
with a big speaker on it, just cruising down the street, coming around the corner with like her bandana on and her sunglasses, and she looked so cool. And I was just so happy to see her. And this song was blasting, and we just like hung out and like drank some like margaritas, to go margaritas or something, and it was just the best day. Like the first of like, I could see my friends, and it's the song's called Jungle Love by Morris Day and the Time, and I've always loved this song. I first heard this song in Purple Rain. I believe it's in that, and we'll talk more about that afterwards. But it's Morris Day and the Time, Jungle Love.
All right,
this goes out to Julie Griner. Yeah, Morris Day and the Time, dude. Like
solid.
It doesn't get like much more funky than that. And like Prince ended up way bigger than him and better, but there was a time that this guy was like king of that genre. And I was saying, because you said you've never seen Purple Rain.
No, that's just like, that era of classics.
Yeah.
That I missed when they were big and just haven't gone back.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was saying it's like part of the like one of the subplots of that movie is like Prince's rivalry with Morris Day. Like Morris Day is like the old head of that scene, and like Prince is the young guy coming up, and I like, in my opinion, through that whole movie, the time is just better than the Revolution, like way better, and which I think is a bold thing for someone like Prince to do. Of like, no, I mean that's kind of the point, is that they're better, but like, yeah, it's not a lot of people would do that, to like put their ego aside and like, this band is better than us, but we're the new thing. I think it's a very cool thing, and it's a great movie. It's like, I don't know how much of it is true. It's like semi autobiographical.
Okay.
But it's just cool, and like nobody's cooler than Prince, dude.
Yeah.
But at the time, Morris Day was cooler than Prince.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
like right, but like right then, it was the switch.
The switch.
And it's just good stuff. And like I said, like I just heard it come around the corner, and then Julie Griner comes on her little Schwinn bicycle.
Oh,
yeah. And I was like, what? And she's just the best, man. She's like one of my best friends in the whole world. We played in a band together. Okay. And we've just been friends for years. She pretty much like saved my life after a breakup. Of just like, come on, stupid.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You gotta have someone smack you around.
Yeah. And I'd do anything for that girl. All right. So that was my last one.
Yeah, man. So
where you at?
I'm going to end it with another just solid song, in my opinion, which all these are solid songs in our opinions, right? Chris Stapleton. Do you know Chris Stapleton? Yeah, so it's another one of those in my Ford. Like Nathaniel Rateliff, Chris Stapleton. Last time I had the Ford rolling were just two that I listened to nonstop. What was it? Maybe 2 or 3 years ago at Jazz Fest in New Orleans, we got to see him.
Cool.
I've done Jazz Fest I think 6 times, but we're always there as vendors. So,
how much music do you get? Like, how far is like?
That's the thing. The vendors are like not far from the music at all.
Okay.
But music is going while you're working.
Right.
And where the craft and fine arts vendors are, it's outside the racetrack. So it's at the horse track.
Okay.
In New Orleans. So all of the big music is in the infield.
Yeah.
And then there's other stages outside of the track, like were by the grandstands. There's like, I mean, there's so many stages, it's ridiculous. But where the arts and craft vendors are, we're always between the blues tent and the gospel tent. So just from our booth, you know, I've been able to see like Mavis Staples and like Robert Randolph and just like some really awesome music. Yeah. And you can kind of just like, which side do you want to listen to? But then sometimes it gets too much because you're getting it from both sides and it's different. And very selectively, I would leave the booth and go see music. Right. And there's also just so many people at Jazz Fest that even I've wanted to go see people, but I've left the booth, you know, like Slayer would work or whoever was with me, Boo, and I would go, but then it would be so crowded and I just have like instant panic attack. I'm like, fuck this. I feel safer behind my table. Yeah, yeah. But a couple of years ago, Chris Stapleton was playing, and it was the closest main stage to us, and he was ending the night. He was like the headliner of the evening. Sun's getting low in the sky, and we go, and me and Kasha got to be pretty much right on the stage. Really? But not center, just a little like over to the left. Speak of the devil, she just texted me. But, yeah, we got just like right up on the stage pretty much, like stage left, and just chilled. And that's one of those where if you're with a girl and you're at a Chris Stapleton concert, you just like, I mean, he sets the mood. Yeah. Yeah. And you just like slow dance, sway. Like, in my opinion, this song I'm going to play is Tennessee Whiskey, and it's the song everyone knows, but it's just such a great song. It's such a good love song. I mean, all his whole catalog is awesome. And I know I wanted to put Chris Stapleton in, and Songs of the Summer need to be those songs that you would hear kind of on the radio because they're big for a reason. And Tennessee Whiskey, you know Tennessee Whiskey? Yeah. Yeah, so that love song, dancing under the sun going down, swaying back and forth with your girl. So that's it.
All right, that's good. Let's do it.
Oh, oof, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That one gives you the feels.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand how there are men and women that walk the earth that just like ooze soul, like whatever that means. Yeah. Like I don't. I mean, I can write music, but I can't write music like that. Like that. You know what I mean? And it's just different.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like off of that album, The Traveler, I mean, from start to finish, every song, at least to me, brings me to a certain spot in my life. And I can cry through that whole album. Yeah. You know, tears of joy, tears of sadness. Yeah. You know, it's just like, it's a story from start to finish that'll just get you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird that it's like how much like there's like music is the only way to like express that emotion. Like you can't really express that feeling through like just poetry or acting or painting. You can express emotion, but like that just like envelopment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Music's like the only way to do that.
Yeah. And if you're not good at expressing certain types of emotion, you can just put music on. Yeah. The days of sending someone a mixtape.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's
like,
days, man.
It's like these are the songs of you in my life.
Yeah. And a playlist just isn't the same. Making somebody a playlist. It's similar, but it's not the same.
Dude, by making a mixtape, there was so much effort that went into making a mixtape. Yeah. You know?
So like, much effort.
You had to really think it out.
Yeah.
Where now you can make a playlist, and if you don't like it, you can move the order around, or you can do whatever. Like, you can't do that. You couldn't do that with a tape.
And also the thing with, like, a mixtape is, like, you can only put on the music that you have. So you're, like, kind of limited to express the emotions and feelings you have or trying to through, like, a library.
Yeah.
You know, not...
Or getting really lucky with the radio.
Yeah. But even then, a lot of times, you know, like the DJ would come in or whatever. Like,
messes up the whole first like couple seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. But even then, like, it would still be like, all right, I gotta like. You wouldn't put that directly on the mixtape. You would like record that. You know, like I would have.
Exactly.
I had tapes of things that I recorded off the radio,
then
and
you had
then
to go through exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
That. So, anyway, yeah, that was good. That was our number 10, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I think we'll go a double up plus one.
Yeah. So we're 10 plus 1 usually, but I figured since we're splitting this up, we'll both get a plus 1. Or I think yours is a plus 1, and I think the one I'm ending on is just like the best. I don't know if anybody could come up with a better summertime song.
Yeah. The perfect song to end this show.
The Summertime JAMZ, yes. Yeah. So what is your plus 1 here?
Dude, this has been the album of my summer.
This particular summer or just summer?
This particular summer so far, spring-ish, spring, summer, weather getting warm. I've listened to this album so many times already. And then, I went down to Georgia to see my grandfather, 3 or 4 weeks ago? Like a month ago, I went down.
Was it that long ago already? Maybe.
I think it was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. Recently went down. And on that road trip, I probably listened to this album 5 or 6 times.
Really?
Yeah. And then I get down and I'm hanging out with Corry. Like the last day there, I hung out with Corry. And he's going through his phone. He's going through his Spotify. He's putting something on at his house. And I see this album cover. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, dude, that's an amazing album. And he just like loses his shit. Because this has been like, since it came out, him and his wife Jen have just been like into it too. And I did not expect that, honestly.
It's a new record.
It's a new record. Okay. Just came out. This year-ish, I guess. And it is so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
It's the new Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Okay. Yeah.
And through and through, start to finish, the whole album is solid. And I was like, okay, I got to pick something off this. I actually just ordered it on vinyl. I thought it's going to be here like today or tomorrow. It's that good of an album, at least in my opinion. But I'm going to go with Spitting Off the Edge of the World. It's the first song on the album. Mm-hmm. If you've heard anything off this album, you probably heard this song. And I think it's a good one. It's definitely been the album of my 2023 summer so far.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I haven't listened to any of their stuff since, like, their first record or two. Mm-hmm. Like, they were huge.
Yeah.
Like, Neighborhood.
Yeah.
Big. That. And then, yeah, I think Maps, was that an album? I think that was the last one I listened to.
I know they had the song Maps. I don't know if that was an album name, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's give this a shot. I'm excited to listen to some new Yeah Yeahs. I didn't realize they had a new record.
Spitting Off the Edge of the World.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I haven't listened to them a lot in the past, decade or so. Like I was saying, she was like the queen of the neighborhood. Her and like the guy she was dating at the time were like.
Dude, she's like the queen of cool. She's got that look.
Yeah. Yeah,
at least the queen of cool of
Yeah.
This decade.
Yeah, she definitely made it. But I've seen her around. I met her. The dude Nick used to come to my store a lot. Mm-hmm. The guitar player, maybe. I don't remember. Okay. He was like a smaller guy. Nick Zimmer, something like that. But yeah, I saw them at like CBGB's, probably 2002, 2003.
When they were first like hitting it.
Yeah. I seen them a lot back then, but like I remember specifically that show. Mm-hmm. And but that's a good song. That's a really good song. I'll have to give this record a listen. I just haven't. I kind of forgot about them, even though I've never like disliked them or anything. Mm-hmm. I slipped my mind.
Yeah, I just like.
Also, they only put records out like once a decade or something.
Yeah, so that's like what we were looking at. And since the last 20 years, they've only put out like 4 or 5 albums.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what they're. Because when you're like signed to a major, like you're signed for a certain amount.
Many, yeah.
And I wonder how that was spaced for them. And it's like you gotta. Here's a bunch of money, but this is going to cost you X amount of albums, and then they're kind of stuck. That's why like so many groups, they're like so good at the beginning, and then they get shitty because they're just I have to fulfill this thing, or I owe these millions of dollars back. It's always been a scam. I don't even know how the record industry works anymore, but it's always kind of been a work. So. All right, so we got one more jam, and to me, and I think to everyone on the planet Earth, if this isn't the epitome of summertime songs, summer jams.
I mean, the name of the song is Summertime.
It is, but if this isn't the tip top, then I don't like you. Yeah. I know that for sure. Like if somebody walked in the door right now and was like,
I don't like this song.
I mean, I don't think this is the tip top of Summertime Jams. I'm like, all right, well, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I guess it does have to do generation, but
this came out in 91.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely remember it as a kid.
Yeah. And these dudes I was way into way before then. So I think He's the DJ, I think was the name. I had the tape.
Okay.
It had The Parents Just Don't Understand, and I think it had the Nightmare on Elm Street song that they did, and Here We Go Again. And I played this tape until it died. And I was still in elementary school, so it must have been.
Which
80s.
album was it?
I think it's called He's the DJ. In my head.
He's the DJ, I'm the rapper.
Yes.
1988.
1988. Yeah, I played the hell out of this tape. And for anybody that hasn't figured it out yet, it's DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. This is before Will Smith was Will Smith.
Yeah.
This was back.
I feel like I should slap you right now.
I don't think you should. I don't think it'll go well for either of us. We both got bad knees, brother.
True.
It'll be they'll come into work on Tuesday and it's a bloody mess.
Yeah. Man. You know, I loved Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
But I loved Bad Boys better.
I don't know if I've ever seen Bad Boys, honestly.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know the movie. I'm sure I've seen parts of it, but I don't think I've. Maybe the first one.
Okay.
Because they're making a new one. There's a new one coming out.
I know the new-ish one, Bad Boys for Life. That was the 3rd one. Was like, I want to say 4 years ago. It was like right before COVID. Yeah.
But did you? I mean, I know you know the song, but were you ever into?
No.
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince?
I did not know any of that until Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came out.
Okay. I think a lot of people weren't, but
yeah. But again,
like Parents Just Don't Understand was like huge, and plus I think I was young. I was 10.
I was 4. So you know, like that's that's a different. I mean, I watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air religiously.
Yeah.
Like I always when that was out.
Yeah. And that was after this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that Will Smith guy, his life is so, like how he became this thing from, like a corny rapper.
Yeah.
You know, but it was back when corny was cool. Still, it was when he started. Like he just got in there. And I wonder what Jazzy Jeff is up to. Like how, like being. Like, I'm DJ Jazzy Jeff, and you're also the Fresh Prince to Will Smith. Like, that's got to be a tough friendship. You know what I mean?
Or it's the perfect friendship because you're along for the ride, but you're not in the spotlight. And you can still go to the grocery store. Yeah.
If I saw DJ Jazzy Jeff, I'd know who he was. If I saw him at Kroger over here, I'd be pretty stoked. But, yeah, so... This is the epitome of Summertime Jams, and if you don't like it, I don't like you, and I will stick to that to my grave, and I don't care.
What's the name of the song?
It's called Summertime.
Summertime.
It's by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and this is it. This is the number one of all time.
Summertime.
Summertime. Let's do it. I mean, come on.
Summertime.
Like, is this even a discussion at this point? Best song, best summer jam. Yeah, remember Virginia Beach, riding bicycles, going down the strip, cruising.
Yeah.
Used to be able to cruise back then.
Dude, cruising.
Cruising was a thing, man.
Cruising was a big thing. Like, every time I go home, and like Kosh is with me, we go through this one town, Gainesville. And Gainesville was just like, that was the cruising spot. And like, the circle. I know exactly. Like, you did the strip, and you went down this road. You could always like, there was like the street racers would go down like the side road and like the lights. I wonder if that's still a thing. I mean,
don't think so.
Cruising. That's what you did on Friday and Saturday nights.
Did.
And then in between cruising, you went to one of like the 2 or 3 parking lots where everyone went to.
Yeah.
And you hung out in the parking lot.
We hung out.
Yeah.
We hung out in the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
We hung out.
We had the Kroger's parking lot.
Yeah.
We had there was like whatever big parking lot was around.
Yeah. And that was the thing, too, of like back then
And you hung out at the mall.
Yeah, the mall for sure.
So like you did the mall, then you did the cruising.
But the point was no plans. Everybody now makes fucking plans, and I hate it. I'm still not good making plans. I hate making plans. But the point was you just go.
Yeah.
And you see who's around.
Yeah.
And that's how you make new friends, because you're like, oh, I know you, and none of my other friends are around, so we'll just hang out.
Yeah.
And then you hang out, and now this guy's your friend.
Then you wind up at like Chili's.
Yeah.
You know, or something.
Yeah. We had Denny's, because in Virginia Beach they had a curfew.
Okay.
So after 10 o'clock, if you were under 18, you weren't allowed outside. Except if you're at like
A family
Denny's
type.
or, because there was only a couple 24 hours places. There was a place called the Village Inn we would
Okay.
hang out at sometimes. Yeah, so you'd be down the strip in the summer, and just, like, there was a McDonald's that we'd park at sometimes. You just go down and see what's around.
Yeah. You hit the ice cream place. You get some ice cream.
Get some ice cream. You go hang around at, like, the haunted ghost ship
Okay.
thing.
Didn't have one of those.
Well, I was in Virginia Beach. And then, just like tourist girls and just like people, and then we'd get in fights, and so many fights we'd get into.
So I was looking at people's cars and people's sound systems.
Yeah, there's be like convertibles with just like girls hanging out, and you're like, and just cause a scene.
And you're like, follow them. And like your buddy's driving, you're a passenger, and you're like rolling down the window, and you're like, oh, what's up?
Yeah, that's times, man.
Cruising was so fun.
Yeah, I don't even know if young people drive. Like,
I have no idea.
I mean, I don't even know who can afford to just like buy their kid a car.
And just burn that much gas.
Yeah, and the gas, Gas was under $1 back then when I
dude.
was a kid. So, like,
I used to just think that, like, oh, it makes sense. 1 gallon of gas is $1.
Yeah, and what it made sense as.
Yeah, like when I started driving, I think it was like $1.19 or something.
Yeah.
It's just, like $1 is a gallon.
Yeah, and you can have everybody throw in a couple bucks,
Yeah.
and then we can go to wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just how it was. And now I'm like, you want me to pick you up?
Yeah. And you're like, cars are $40,000 for like a shitty car, and gas is like $5 a gallon.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm so glad that I'm not a young person.
Yeah.
It's weird. I think all throughout history, you're like, oh man, I wish I was still young. I mean, I wish my body felt better. I wish I was being skinny again.
A 20-year-old in 2023.
Yeah. Forget that, man. I feel bad for these kids. Anyway, we're not ending on a sour note.
No, summertime.
This was good, man. I had a good time with you today.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to do this type of thing again sporadically in the future. We'll come up with a theme.
Yeah.
Just be the two of us.
Just like a radio show.
Yeah. Sipping on whiskey and
listening to some tunes.
Listen to tunes. And thank you guys for joining us on our 10+1 Summer Jams edition. And we'll see you next week. Do you have anything to add?
Summertime 25.
All right. That's the code. Summertime 25. If you punch that in, you'll get 25% off your entire order.
And we're definitely a handful of episodes in. It's apparent no one listens past like midpoint at this point, you know. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Someone use a code.
Yeah,
let us know when you're like making it to the end.
Yeah, and
give us some love. We got the whole so on Spotify there is a questionnaire. If you go through to the bottom, it's like, what do you think about this episode? We've had 1 or 2 people comment on that. I'd like to hear some comments.
Yeah,
what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, let us know what we're doing wrong. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know.
I think it's got legs. I like the 10+1. It's got legs.
I mean, I just like doing it, so I don't even care. But like, I think we got to
getting some feedback would be nice.
Yeah, a little feedback. All right, thank you guys, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right.